The day one of Advent of Cyber is here, and we have got a new storyboard on the line. The unthinkable has happened. Mix Kitty has been kidnapped. Without her, Werewolf's defense are flattering, and Christmas itself hangs by a thread. But panic won't save the season. A long road lies ahead to uncover what truly happened. The best festive company team already brainstorms what to do next, and their first lead point to the TBFC Web 01, a Linux server processing Christmas wish list. Somewhere within its data may lie the truth, trace of Mixkitty's final actions, or perhaps the clue to King Malhare's twisted vision for East Mus. And this is the king here, and this is our Mixed Kitty, who is currently kidnapped with some evil plan of King Marhel's. Okay, so what are we learning in today's challenge? It's learn about the basics of Linux command line interface, explore its use for personal objectives and IT administration, apply our knowledge to unveil the Christmas mysteries. And these are the information which is given here, like do we need a VM today, there'll be a split screen and all those things. I've already powered on the machine, as you can see here, because it's going to take some while to boot up. So to avoid that, I just turned it on. And let's click on check. Move to the next part of it. It's called as Linux CLI, which is the command line interface. Working with the Linux CLI. But there is no graphical interface GUI on the server. How will we look for clues? Who needs a GUI when we have a Linux command line terminal? It's even better. Linux has a powerful command line interface allowing you to use and manage the system simply by typing commands on your keyboard. It's not as hard as it sounds. Once you get used to it, maybe you will like the CLI more than the graphical interface. Not only that, but most experienced IT and cybersecurity experts work with CLI every day. So let's start learning. To run your first CLI command, type echo hello world and press enter. This will echo the text back. So let me open the machine here and open the terminal also. Let me do one thing. Let me have this side by side along with the file system so that we can have a good comparison between the terminal and the GUI. Okay, this is right here. I guess this is sufficient. Okay, now as a first part, they have told us to echo and look at what's coming out. So I could echo anything here. It could be hello world with that, and let's press enter. It says hello world. Any text that you're given is just going to be printed out right onto our screen. Next, that is about then type ls to list the contents of the current directory. This command will show you Mixkitty's files. Yes, so on a terminal, you don't see anything directly like how we would generally see on a folder or a window, right? So what happens in terminal is that you need to specify specific commands like the ls command, which is usually used for listing out the contents present inside a directory. It could be a file, it could be a directory, it could be a shortcut. Anything which is present in that directory would be listed out here. Now if you had attended or completed the machine or the room of warm up for this Advent of Cyber, we also saw LSLA, which is going to list out the contents which is present inside this directory in a listed, and everything, even including the hidden files, are going to be listed. So pressing enter, we see so many contents which are not just directly seen here. Again, you could come here and probably through properties, not the permissions, or we could be able to see even the hidden files. I guess that's option to there's an option here, I know, but not able to recollect it at this moment. But as you can see here, other than just seeing the desktop, the downloads, and the music folders which is is directly visible here. You can also see the contents, which is hidden from us to look at or to access into it. So command line is going to give you all those information just by one single command, which generally is not visible on a window like this. Let's go ahead with seeing what is here. After that, type cat readme.txt to display the file contents. You will see its contents in the output below. Yes, so they have given us the output also here. It says for all the best festive company members. Yesterday I spotted yet another exploit on our, that's exploit, right? Yeah, I read it right. On our servers. Not sure what it means yet, but Wereville is in danger. But to be prepared, I will write the security guide by tomorrow. As a precaution, I will also hide the guide from plain view. Mix kitty. That's good. We also see that here by doing ls, we can see readme.txt file to be present. Let's use the cat command, which is used for concatenating contents onto our terminal screen here, and call it readme.txt. Let me also clear the screen. Press enter. That gives us the same message which we read here. That's good. Now, navigating the file system. Looks like Mixkitty left a security guide before being kidnapped. It would definitely help. You might have noticed the guides directory when you ran ls last time. That's likely the directory we need. Your CLI journey began at Mixkitty's home directory. You can verify by running pwd, but now let's switch to the guides directory. Okay, now what they're talking about is when you use the command ls, we saw many folders here: the desktop, downloads, music, public, template, and more, right? Also, you can see the command or the directory called as guides. It's a folder like just like desktop and downloads there. Also, we can look at what directory we are currently in. It is pwd, present working directory, which is going to tell you where exactly are you um, present in a terminal, so that you can move around and go to different directories and switch directories and many more things like that. So let's go with that. They've told us to run the command to change the directory into Mixkitty's guides directory, and then to list out the commands which is there. Let's change directory, to which we use a command called as cd, and then move to guides. Press enter. Where now you can see in front of the username and the host name, we are able to see the directory name that we are currently in, which is the guides directory. Unlike the previous directory, you can go to the previous directory using cd dot dot. You can see that's the wiggle symbol. That's usually the symbol to the home directory. Now, in case I am in any other directory, let's go to the guides directory itself, and I type in the command cd wiggle. That's going to take me back to the home directory itself. That's like a shortcut given. It's similar to like going through the, there is no guides here. Desktop, documents, snap. Is the guides a hidden folder? No. Where exactly am I? Okay, I'm in a different folder altogether. So let's go to the desktop. No, not the desktop. Let's go to, let's change the directory from here itself. Home. And let's call it Mixkitty. Yes. The folder contents could not be displayed. Okay. So which also gives us the another reason why terminals are way more powerful. You could see we cannot list out the contents exactly here, but we are able to interact and move around the directories present here. I don't know, that's not the exact reason, but maybe some permission issues are there. Okay, anyway, we are into the guides directory here, and let's list out the contents here inside the guides directory. ls, it says empty, which means nothing is exactly present, right? What do we do next? Looking for the hidden guide. Oh, it looks like the guides aren't there. Or are they? In Linux, files and directories can be hidden from plain view if they start with the dot symbol, with the dot secret, as an example here. Such features is often used by IT administrators to hide system files, by attackers to hide malwares, and now by Mixkitty to hide the precious guide from bad bunnies. Now to view that, what we can run is the ls-la, which is again, if just by giving a, we can list out everything that is there, but L is going to give us in the listed format. Now, how do I note these things? For everything in Linux, we have either the help or the manual switch, which we can use for understanding and using the Linux terminal. Again, this is not very clear in that. I'll open up my terminal and show it in a full screen. Help. I guess it's help. And yes, so you can see here every option like A is going to give out all. It's going to ignore entries starting with a dot. It's just going to present everything. And the else, which is right here, uses long listing format. So you can use these options, or you can even know more about it using the man command, which is the manual of ls. It's going to give us the complete manual of those commands which you're using in Linux. So here is the complete list of and description about this tool. It says list information about the file's current directory by default, sort entries alphabetically if none of these options are given. So it's going to just print it alphabetically. Now to exit, you can use the command Q. It's going to exit from the manual page. Now getting back to this, let's clear the terminal once again and list out the contents which is present here. So we see something called as .guide.txt. That's interesting. Now read the hidden guide by running cat guide.txt. Don't forget the leading dot. This to print out any content which is present in a file, we use a command called as cat, which is full form a concatenation. Now it's going to take the contents which is present inside any file and print it out on our screen here. So cat, then since it's a hidden directory, so we need to use the dot symbol before the file name comes in. So dot, then guide, if I can spell it right, GUIDE, then press enter. That's going to print the contents which is present inside the guide.txt file. It says, I think King Malhare from Hopsec Island is preparing for an attack. Not sure what his goal is, but exploit on our server are not good. Be ready to protect Christmas by following the Linux guide. Check /var/log/ and grep inside. Let the logs become your guide. Look for X that want to hide. Check the shells for what's inside. It's good rhyming though. Yeah. Now, great job of finding the guide. Your flag is this. So let's copy the flag for now. And then, okay, did I open something? No. So let's copy this. If I can copy that, and how do I copy it? I mean, in the sense with the attack box here. That is usually an option here. Here, that's here. So clipboard, yes, let's copy it from the clipboard and just scroll down to see we can paste it here. There is no flag. Okay, finally, what is a flag? Okay, I guess that's a different thing. Let's come back to the questions later. Let's ignore the flags right now. And where were we? We were here. We found the contents here. Now, grepping the logs. In her guide, Mixkitty refers to /var/log/ a Linux directory where all security event logs are stored. Indeed, every SOC analyst at the best festive company will confirm that the best way to find evil bunnies is to check for the logs. Log files are usually very big, and looking through them with cat is not ideal. Thus, let's use grep, a command to look for a specific text inside a file. Now let's first go to the directory which is specified by Mixkitty, which is slash var slash log. Now that's a directory. We have a lot of directories in Linux. If I show it to you here, you can change your directory to cd slash. It's called as the root of the Linux directory. Here, by using the command ls, if you list out, we see so many files to be present here. These are all the files which actually enables us to run the entire Linux machine. So let's LA in a very good manner. We see so many files. Let me not do that. Let's just do LSL. We can see the contents in the list format. We have bin, we have boot, we have core, we have dev, and many more such file systems which is used by Linux to boot up the machine and give out all the things like the graphic interfaces, the directory listing, or the terminals. Everything is present inside one of these files. Now for log specifically, we can go to the directory called as var, if you can see it here, and inside it, let's also list out what files do we have. Here we see backups. In case if you want to take any backups, it's going to be present there. Crash, local, spool, temp, then mail. There's mail which if you're using system mail for communicating, you can find all your mails to be present there. Interestingly, what Mixkitty has guided us is to go through the logs. So let's go to the logs directory. So we'll use the command cd to change into the logs directory. Plus enter, and ls again to print out the contents which is here. We see so many files like the Ubuntu advantage apt.hook.log or dmezs, and so many files are here. Now we don't know what exactly are the files that we need to be looking through, right? So let's come back here, and they have told us navigate to the log directory with the cd slash var log and explore the contents with ls. Run grep failed password in auth.log. Now auth.log, again, it is very dynamic. It depends on the configurations of the system, but we can see it in the top somewhere. Auth.log. Do we have auth.log? Yes, we can see it here. It's the auth.log. Now, just for an example, if I cat out, let me put all these aside. Let's cat auth.log, press enter. We see so much of information here. So much that looking through one at a time is a very tedious job unless we bring in some softwares or some application which would help us to filter and sort out these error logs or authentication logs here. But for our purpose here, what we can do is we can use a command called as grep, which only extracts the contents that we specify from a specific file. Like for example, from the auth.log, if I type in, let's say, hi, do we see any contents? Hi, no such file or directory. Oh, sorry. So grep, what contents do I actually want to list out, which is going to be hi, and then the file from which I want to be looking these contents from, or this hi parameter from. So press enter, it finds nothing. Let's look for something obvious, something like password from auth.log, and press enter. We still find nothing. What do we have exactly? It says failed password. So I guess it's not just looking for the word password, but it's also very case sensitive. Now let's try also with a lowercase of p, and we get so many list of passwords which is mentioned here, right? So these are the only lines in which the word password, again, which is very case sensitive, is being presented to us. There is no other contents other than the line which has password in it being presented to us. Okay, that's interesting. Now, they've told us to specify and go specific with it by saying failed password only. Let's change that to grep. It's called failed password, then from auth.log. And we get all these lines in which failed password is the content in it. Okay, now we have still so many lines to look at, right? It says manually scroll big files with cat or get only what's needed with grep. Yeah, that's a nice thing which Mixkitty has been helping us through. Finding the files. You can see a lot of failed logins on the SockMass account, all from the Hop Sock location. They were clearly trying to break into the SockMass, Werewolf's Christmas ordering platform. What if bad business left some malware there? Let's follow Mixkitty's guide and look for exploit and eggshells with find slash a command that searches for files with specific parameters such as slash name or sorry hyphen name. Now find is another command which is used for looking through a specific file which is present inside the Linux directory. Now I could run find and then I need to specify from which directory. By default it's going to look through the present directory, but I could say the root directory. It's going to search for the entire Linux file system to see if any specific file that we mentioned is going to be present or not. Now what's given here is run the find slash home sock mass under that directory for any x as the file name present. Let's run this command. Let's call it file home and what is the directory? Sock mass. Okay, then look for anything which has x in it, right? That's the exact command. They've also specified for anything. And the word could have anything before or after the word X. Now we use star, which is going to list out anything which is before the X, whatever the file name is going to be there, and anything after this word X, it's going to look. It's also going to be searching for those contents. We use it for searching through anything where we are not sure of what exactly is going to be the complete file name or complete context or complete information about that parameter. So we can use star to filter that out. Now hyphen name is going to be looking at the file's name if that matches to this parameter that we have specified. So let's press enter and it gives us that in the sockmass 2025 folder, we have a file called as eggstrike.sh. That's interesting. Okay, so what do we see here? Now, note find is a powerful command. Check out its documentation for the details. That's good. Now, analyzing the extract. Looks like you have found something. Extract.sh. It's a Linux binary file. Files with .sh extensions contain CLI commands and are called shell scripts. Such scripts are used both by IT administrator to automate things and by attackers to quickly run malicious commands. Let's display the suspicious scripts content and try to understand it. Now what we'll do is let's change our directory from the var logs directory to the home directory here to sockmass, then 2025. Yes, press enter. So we are into this home folder of sockmass, inside which we have 2025 as the directory. Let's also list out, is there any other file in this directory? And we see so many files to be present. Using the file find command, we were able to filter and check for the specific file name itself, which is going to be having X in them. Okay, we see xstrike.sh. Let's print out the contents which is present inside the xstrike.sh file. Press enter. And we see it says cat wishlist.txt, which is going to print out the contents of what is present in wishlist.txt, passing through sort, unique, and dumping that to the temp directory. Okay, that's what it is doing. Then it's also deleting the wishlist.txt file, then echoing out Christmas is fading. Then move estimus.txt to wishlist.txt and then echo estmust is invading. Your flag is so and so. Okay, now it was a huge list of commands. Let's break it down one by one. Now it says cat wishlist.txt. What it means is that we have a file called as wishlist.txt here. Now, as it's already mentioned, .sh files are nothing but automating the scripts or the commands which you would manually try to enter into the terminal itself. It's used for automation or for running it in the background in case you don't want to interact with it directly. Here, what it is doing is that it's printing out the contents which is present inside the wishlist.txt. It has so much of contents, and it's also passing the contents what is being printed out from the cat command into a new command called as sort. Now what does that do? Let's just check it out. So let's give a pipe symbol and say sort. We see now it has been sorted alphabetically. Whatever content was present inside the cat wishlist.txt was passed through the sort command, which alphabetically presents itself onto our terminal screen. Then it's going to say unique. Okay, it's the directory name, and dumping it to temp.txt. So what contents are unique here are going to be dumped there. Let's add unique and see what we see there. We are able to see everything that is unique in this file. Now in case we had anything repeated, that's going to just scratch them out. It's not going to be presented there. So it's going to take whatever is unique, then using the upper bracket or greater than symbol, we are dumping these content into the slash is it the temp directory here? Yes, it's dumping it to the temp directory called as dump.txt. Now what I will do is, instead of rewriting this, I will call this as test dot or test12345.txt, so that we don't replace any existing temp file which we might require for our further investigation to solve these challenges. Okay, so we will press that and you will see that no output has shown on our screen. That's because any input or any output which was given by the terminal is dumped or it's pasted onto the file called as test12345.txt inside the temp directory. Now, if I use the ls command, I could also specify in a specific directory where I want to look at the contents there. So I can say slash, which is the root of the directory, and then temp, then slash once again. Pressing enter, we see so many files here. We also see our file test12345.txt to be present inside the temp directory. What we can also do is, using the cat command, we can print out the contents which is also present in any other directory, like cat, then specify the directory where we want to look at those contents, slash temp slash test12345.txt. Press enter. It's going to print out the same content which was initially printed out here. Okay, that's good. What else do we have here? Then it's going to use a command called as rm. It's a command which is used for deleting contents inside a Linux machine. Just to show an example, let's create a file. Let's just ignore the command that I'm entering here, which is the touch command. It's just going to create a new file. Let's call it as test123.txt. And if you use the command ls, you can see that we have the file test123.txt. Now, if you want to delete any file, you can use the command rm, then say the file name that you want to delete, press enter. You can no more see that that file exists. So it's deleting that. Now from the command or the bash script which was present here, let's print that out once again. Cat x strike.sh. They're removing the original wishlist.txt file and printing out and percent is something similar to like the pipe symbol, but the difference is The and symbol is going to be only executed once the command which was given before the and is successfully executed. Whereas in sort, or the pipe symbol here, where we have passed it in through sort, it's going to take the input or the output of that command which was previously executed and then pass it into the new set of commands which comes after the pipe symbol. So we are using the and percent, which is going to run the rm wishlist.txt, which means it's going to delete it, and then it's going to print out Christmas is fading. Let's create another file called as test itself.txt and then run this command with the modified file name. So rm wish instead of wish list, let's go for test.txt, and then we'll give and echo. Let's give our own message, deleting. Okay, pressing enter, that says deleting. If I list out the contents which is present inside this directory, I no more see our test.txt. I should have listed the command. Let's do this once again. Paste it here, ls. Now you can see the test.txt file is right here. Now let's use the same command of deleting it. Let's run that. It said deleting. Now listing it, we don't see the test.txt file. But what if I run the same command once again, wherein I know there is no file called as test.txt to be present inside this directory. So it is going to fail executing the test.txt. What message will we get? Pressing enter, it says rm cannot remove test.txt, no such file or directory, which means deleting did not execute, which is how the and percent works. Okay, now moving further, what do we see here? It says once the file is deleted, it's going to move east must.txt file, which is, can I see it here? No, I'm not able to see here. So the east must, it's going to move. Move is another command which is going to be used for either moving a file from one location to another location, or it is also used in this case to rename that file. Now let's take another file as an example, test.txt here. And if I try to list out what exactly is present inside the temp directory, I can see there is no file which is called as test.txt here. Using the mv, which is the move command, we can move the test.txt from our current location to any desired location. It's like cutting and pasting in your graphical interface. So I will use the command mv test.txt/temp, and pressing enter, we can no more see the test.txt file to be present here. Right now, if I list out the temp directory, I can see my file test.txt to be present inside the temp directory. That's the use of move command. Now move command can also be used for renaming the files, such as, now here we see no file to be present. Let's create another file using the touch command called as test1.txt. Now I want to move the test1.txt to some other name. Let's say move test1.txt to test.txt. Now before I do that, let me print out what files are present here, and now move the test1 to test.txt. Listing out the contents, we can clearly see the test1.txt is replaced or renamed with test.txt. That's what is happening here in our extract.sh file, which is that it's moving the eastmust.txt, which is the eastmust official or the original text file, and renaming and replacing the original wishlist file to the contents which is present inside the eastmust file. And then it's again echoing eastmust is invading. It's a very, very malicious file which is trying to delete the original wishlist file into something which the eastmust wants to be executed. The same explanation is given here. Let's skip through all these things and come here. Now, it is clear that the server has been breached and Christmas wish list has been replaced with East Must 1. Although you found no clue of what happened to Mixkitty, at last you know the attackers were there. You can see how Sir Carato Ban replaced the wish list by visiting to this URL from the VM's web browser. You can open it by clicking on the Firefox icon on the desktop. Now let's copy this URL here, then go to the directory here or the system here, the Linux machine. Open up the Firefox, paste in the content that we had in our clipboard. This is our clipboard. Let's replace it with this. Close that in. And how do I switch tab? Yes, coming here. Let's paste that in. Press enter. We see welcome to Werewolf's Christmas countdown. So this is the web page, I guess, is what is going to be used for. Oh, something is happening there. Okay. This year's most wish listed Christmas items. So these are the most wish listed items are being presented here. That's okay, fine. I guess there is some glitch happening in between. I mean, from the attacker might have modified it. I'm not sure. Okay, now and from the VM's browser, you can open it by clicking on the firebox. Okay, system utilities. There are hundreds of CLI commands to view and manage your system. For example, uptime to see how much time your system is running, IP address to check your IP address, and PSAUX to list all the processes. You may also check the username and hashed passwords of users, such as Mixkitty, by running cat etc shadow. However, you would need root permission to do that. They're talking about looking at the etc shadow file. Now, etc shadow file is a file in which usernames and their users' passwords, I mean, in the form of hash, is going to be stored. Now, if you generally try to print out the contents of the shadow file, uh, you will get an error called as permission denied, which is obvious and which is it should how it should be, because it's also going to contain the accesses to the user's home directories and their passwords and their usernames. It needs to be given to only privileged users, which makes sense. Now, to bypass this, we can use a command called as sudo, which means super user do. And with that, you'll have the privileges of the at most user who is present inside the operating system, which is the root. All those things is going to be discussed here. The root user. Root is default ultimate Linux user who can do anything on the system. You can switch to the root with the sudo su and return back to Mixkitty with the exit command. Only root can open etc shadow and edit system settings. So this user is often a main target for attackers. If at any moment you want to verify your current user, just run who am I. Okay, so what we'll do is let's run the command who am I. That's a command in which you can see which user that you are, and we can see we are Mixkitty. That's fine. Now, as I already said, shadow file is something which only a root user who has the highest privilege in the system can access. We need to switch into that user. Now, with that level of permissions, where you can look at the passwords or the list of home directories that a user is having, we could also do anything and everything inside the file system without asking or being asked for a password or any kind of authentication into the system's activities. The root users are one of the most targeted users on a Linux system by any attacker. Let's try switching into that user. So we given the command sudo, which is going to run with the root user's privileges. Now, instead of switching into a root user, you could also use this command sudo to do the same activities what a root user can do. But here, let's switch using the su command. It's going to switch user. By default, if I don't mention any specific username, it's going to be root itself. Or if I say call it as admin1, it's going to switch to the admin1 user. In this case, let's just click on su, press enter, and we are the root user. Generally, we'll have a root password to enable or to pass on, but here we do not require any root password. Let me also increase the machine time. Can I add an hour? That's good. We can add an hour. With that, let's see which user am I. Who am I? And I see I'm the root. Now you can even see the username here from the username in the terminal itself. Which user am I? So you can see it's the root user. That's the reason it says root. I'm Mixkitty. That's the reason it says Mixkitty there. That's nice. Now with this privileges, we can go to the home directory or the bash history of it. So, did you know that every command you run is saved in a hidden history file, also called bash history? It is located at every user's home directory /home mixkitty.bash underscore history. That's the actual thing. Now, if I just come down and list out the contents here, I see the folder 2025. But if I also list out everything that is present here, this users doesn't have a bash history present for them. Okay, that's okay. Let's go a folder back using the cd dot dot is a representation of going one folder back. Pressing enter, ls is going to list out the, oh, we see Eddie kidnap. Okay, that's another interesting file, but let's focus on Mixkitty. So now I'm going to change my directory to Mixkitty. Press enter. Now lsla, we see that we have a file called as bash history. It's a hidden file. That's why we have a dot in front of it. What can it contain? It contains every command that was run by that user. Let's try that using cat and then paste in the file name. Press enter. We see everything from our commands which we entered during my demonstration of how things work. If I scroll back a little more, it can also see that we have read or edited the readme.txt file. It has been edited with guide.txt and much more like that. So we also see that su, which is to switch user into Eddie kidnap or keynap, was done. So which means that from the Mixkitty's account, we were shifted to Eddie kidnaps account. And there the cat var log, or this is R. I guess this is R commands which is happening here. Yes, these are all R commands which we just ran as being presented there. Okay, so let's stick to what they are to share here. They've given us some objectives to solve for completing this room today. Which CLI command would you use to list a directory, which is the ls command? Let's press in enter. That's the right answer. Complete on machine. Identify the flag inside of Mixkitty's guide. Detecting machines action. Identify the flag inside Mixkitty's guide, which we did. Let's do it once again, right? Let's move into the guides directory here. Then list it out, lsla. We see guide.txt. Let's do cat guide.txt and copy this to the clipboard. I guess that's the objective. Copy it. Detecting machines action. Okay, I guess that's going to do it by itself. Okay. Which command helped you filter the logs for failed logins? So which command did we use for looking or filtering through the commands or the logs which we found from the temp directory or the var logs directory? It is the grep command. So grep, press enter. It's good. Now complete on the machine, identify the flag inside the strike script. It says detecting machine actions, which we already did. We did find out some of the flags. I'm not sure if it is exactly present here, but yeah, we have found all these flags already. Now, which command would you run to switch to the root user? it is sudo, which is super user do, and then switch to the root user by default by giving su. Yes, press enter. Now, finally, what flag did Sir Caret ban leave in the root bash history? And from the root bash history, we can see that by going to cd slash root directory, then lsla, we see dot bash history. Let's open that file using cat, paste it in here, and it says curl, it's pulling out data, and this is the flag of what Mr. or Sir Carrot Ban left us in the bash history. Let's paste that in and press enter. That does it. For those who consider themselves intermediate and want another challenge, check Mixkitty's hidden note in home Mixkitty document to get access to the key for the side quest 1. Okay, so that is side quest also going on. Let's just do it here. Let's go to Mixkitty's home directory. Mixkitty, if I can type the username right, inside the documents folder. Okay, let's list out. It says please read me please .txt. Let's cat readme please .txt, and it says so many things from Mixkitty to whoever finds this. Okay, now this is part of the side quest 1, which I don't think I'm supposed to be showcasing it. Nevertheless, I just want to give a small hint that how it's going to go. Now let's click on check and let's try finishing this. Enjoyed investigating a Linux environment? Check out our Linux logs investigation room for more like this. Check. And with that, it still says 77. I am not sure with how do I do this. Not sure with that. Anyway, with that done, we have successfully finished, or unofficially finished, because it still says 77 for some reason, even though we have found the flag. We have finished the day 1 challenge of the Advent of Cyber. Let's wait for tomorrow's challenge, and that is going to be fishing, which is something fishy. So yes, so hope to meet you all tomorrow, and with the day 2 of Advent of Cyber, really excited for it. Till then, stay happy, stay smiling. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.